Yeah, we got the new show, the new intro. We even got Jay in there already. So I don't know if we have to pay royalties for that or not, Jay. But
Absolutely.
happy to have you on there, man. It's Fridays with Tust. Looking forward to this, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. It's Friday, man. I'm in a good mood. How you doing?
Same deal. A cup of coffee's almost gone. State basketball today. We don't have Boise State till tomorrow, but overall, good little Friday morning.
And do you have to do the consolation games, or can you wait till 6 on the winner's side?
For the most part, but they actually kind of have restructured the 4A and 5A tournament this year. So all of the winners out of those play at the Idaho Center today. So usually it was like that noon, 2 o'clock game was a consolation bracket game. Today, actually the 4As go over there. So you have the semifinals for the 4As in the afternoon, followed by the semifinals for the 5A in the evening.
I love high school sports, man, but that's the one thing I don't miss. I'm not going to lie.
What's that supposed to mean?
I love covering high school sports.
It's the heart and soul of our community, BJ. Come on now, man.
It is. In the middle of basketball season, man, you got your, probably on your second or third cup of coffee already there. I just, that's one thing that I salute you and all the other media members having to do both this weekend, but I'm not sad that I don't have to focus on high school hoops today. But
I get you.
We got Nick Wade. They're already chiming in, man. Everyone's saying hi, guys. We got good morning, go Broncos from Kurt. Someone named Karen Rains saying morning Tust. I'm not sure where she's watching from. We got Cody saying if we win Saturday and Tuesday, we're a lock for the tournament. We're gonna get into all that. Again, this is BroncoNationNews.com. He's Jay Tust. I'm BJ Rains. RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is our title sponsor. Hope you subscribe on YouTube, please. Do that. We're trying to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Jay, there's a little bit of feedback. I don't know if it's from my my mic or if you could turn down the speaker just a little bit. Maybe we'll see if that helps. But if you see it on the bottom of the screen there, folks, it's Friday and I'm in a good mood. So I just woke up and decided to do this. $45, you can get a full year subscription if you just use the promo code BNN. So if you're on the fence about subscribing, it's usually $70. Today, it's only $45. Just use the promo code BNN. You just go to BroncoNationNews.com, subscribe. And again, BNN45, the code's on there. We'll take $25 off. Jay's actually agreed to pay the extra $25 that you're getting as a discount for the subscription today. So isn't that nice of him?
What?
You didn't read the contract, I guess. It was in the fine print that everybody gets a discount, and we're not paying you. You're actually going to pay everyone to subscribe.
That doesn't seem fair, but whatever. We'll roll with it for now.
Hopefully, we get some folks. It's going to be a big month. We got spring ball starting up in a little while. We got the couple weeks of the tournament. There's a lot for us to talk about, Jay. So hopefully, folks, again, $45 using the promo code BNN45. Okay, so the Air Force game is in the books, Jay. We'll quickly look back and look ahead, and not necessarily look back just at the game, but some of the things, the takeaways that maybe moving forward are going to end up being, big things for this team. And overall, I mean, I know Leon privately was quietly, I guess, publicly wasn't wanting to really admit it, but that was a really scary game. I mean, that was a game where you had not much to gain and a whole lot to lose for the tournament. And all the history of them playing bad down there, and they went down there and kicked Air Force's ass, really, if you want to be honest about it, and won by 26 and got a nice jump in the computer rankings. And, it was overall a very, very impressive, unexpected blowout win, which I keep, everybody keeps saying that phrase, this team just feels different this year. And I think that was another example where previous teams coming off that CSU loss might have really struggled down there, let it carry over. This team, without two of their key players, went down there and just put a whooping on Air Force. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive. I've been referring to it as a necessary win, not necessarily a big win, but a necessary win. Because as you said, you had a whole lot to potentially lose in that game. I mean, that was the last game on Boise State's schedule this season that really could have wrecked some stuff. I mean, losing that game would have been the equivalent of losing like 2 or 3 of the final 5 games, probably, just because Air Force dropped into the quad 4 after losing that game. Boise State already has a quad 4 loss. For a team like Boise State, you don't want to give the committee any further reasons to maybe knock your resume, and 2 quad 4 losses would have been, that really would have been something difficult to justify to some. And I think that's reasonable too, for that matter. You got to win those games. And now we're talking about something that's, pretty much completely irrelevant, because they went there and they won by 26. I think it tied their 3rd largest margin of victory of the entire season. So they went there. They were impressive. Their offense is really picking up as of late, and considering the way that they play defense when Emmanuel Acott's been healthy, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and getting some comments here. We got 8 people starting a tailgate tomorrow at 1:00. Cornhole boards out there, 55-degree weather. And I'm not sure if his friend is Dakota or not, but Dakota says, well, they'll also be down there tailgating. So cornhole and music, come down and join us. So if you're going to the game tomorrow, get a little festive atmosphere, have a few drinks out in the parking lot, play some cornhole, and then go in. And we will talk about that game tomorrow in a little bit. Cody says, cool beans, Jay. Appreciative there that you're willing to help with the subscription price. We got Kurt saying, already bought my tickets for Saturday's game. But there were some things in that game, Jay, in particular, Lucas Milner, Pavle Kuzmanovic, some of the guys coming off the bench that really provided some key minutes. I mean, there's been a good chunk of the year where when Lucas is in there, he's basically in there for the couple minutes where they just need to, get a blow for Mladen or if he's in foul trouble. But he actually, wasn't just taking up space in there. He was, and again, Air Force doesn't have much inside. I mean, the matchup worked well for him, but Boise State, whether they were driving and then, dishing in the lane or that, they were playing inside out in that game. And Lucas Milner, career high 13 points. I thought he was really impressive.
Yeah, I think we have the tangible things that come out of that performance. Like we can see that Lucas was 6 of 6, 13 points, had a few rebounds. Pavle obviously scored a little bit, got a couple shots to fall. But I think more than anything that I would cling to are like kind of the intangibles that come from that. And that's just confidence. It was funny when we spoke with Lucas Milner after the game. He sat down in front of all the meeting and said, "Wow, I've never met any of you before. Hi, my name's Lucas." I mean, he just really hasn't been in a situation like this before, and it's year 2 for him on a college campus. So just a good chance for him to build a little bit of confidence. And BJ, when we get further down the schedule here and we're watching Boise State play, these more difficult teams, and it's really only going to get more and more difficult from here on out. You're not going to hopefully be asking Lucas to log, 15, I think 14 minutes exactly, but 15 minutes in a game. You're probably just going to be asking him to get like 5 or 6, but you just want a good 5 or 6. And now maybe he has the confidence to get that quality 5 or 6 that, may be the difference in a tight game against a good team later on down the line.
And I think people forget. I mean, you look at his athleticism and stuff too. I think he can actually do some things that Mladen can't in terms of just some of his raw athleticism and things. And I think people forget. He actually led all of the junior college ranks in field goal percentage. He shot like 70% from the field. A lot of that, right around the basket, obviously. But the guy can bring something to the table with size. And I know that they're continuing and want to see him develop. And maybe next year he's a little more of a key player. If he comes back for the COVID year, which I assume he would. But I mean, you're right. You don't want him just being out there for 4 or 5 minutes taking up space. It'd be nice to be able to dump the ball down to him. It's like the running back that comes in to give somebody a blow. You don't want to just have him out there pass blocking. You want to be able to give him a carry. And so I mean, to be able to have Lucas out there, and then I think Pavle too, and he's a guy that has gotten more minutes lately with Acott out. And he's an interesting guy for me. There's times in the game where I'm like, what, man, he get him off the court. And just to be frank, and then there's moments where it's like, okay, he can actually contribute here. And so I thought that was a little bit of a confidence game for him to knock down a couple threes and had a nice drive. And I don't think he's much of a driver. I think he needs to kind of know his role more out on the perimeter, but he's not a great ball handler, but when he can catch and shoot, he can knock down some shots. And that's something you're going to need down the stretch as well.
I was going to say, no offense to Pavle, but man, the Colorado State game when shot clock was winding down and there was like 6 seconds on it, and he backed it out and wanted to go one-on-one at Roddy, and then he ended up throwing it off the shot clock on a drive. So maybe not like
you don't get 4 points. You don't get 4 points if it hits the shot clock and goes.
Hey, no. Remember Rock and Jock days when they drop like the 50-point hoop like way above the court over the shot clock? Yeah, that's not it. So, but
he does have some things he can bring to the table.
He's intriguing. He's still one of those guys that you get him a few minutes now, you see what he can do. Still probably a little bit more of a project, but you see his length, you see his ability to shoot, and you wonder like what can he get to eventually to help this team, and that's promising. But this team will be at its strongest when Max Rice is again the 6th man off the bench. You have Emmanuel Acott back in the starting lineup. And then the 7th guy you bring off is Najee Smith. And then if you need to, you go to Pavle and Lucas. that's when this team will be at its strongest. The fact that they've been able to kind of weather the storm while they've sustained some injuries, is definitely encouraging, because I think that's one thing that kind of has slowed this team down this time of year, BJ, is it does seem like they do maybe get a little fatigued and some injuries catch up with them. And right now it seems like they're, knock on wood, they got through Marcus Shaver's ankle. It seems like they're on the back end of dealing with Emmanuel Acot's knee. So, at one point in time, Abu Kijab was a little banged up, and he probably still is, but they've been kind of, been able to manage him. Obviously, Mladen Armush with the shoulders, and
watch out for Max Rice's foot. He doesn't look like he's moving great. I don't know. We'll see there, but you're right. I mean, and you mentioned Acot. Reading the tea leaves and stuff, maybe we'll get. I doubt Leon Rice will tell us today, but wouldn't shock me if he plays tomorrow. I think this was all kind of set up for him to be back tomorrow. It
just seemed like, once he kind of started to once he missed last weekend's game against Colorado State, it kind of seemed like this might be the plan. And again, that's nothing that anybody will probably ever admit to us. But if you by sitting him last week against Colorado State, you kind of maybe you were able to forecast you could get through Air Force without him, and that gave him basically a full extra week just to rest that thing. And now you're looking at a guy that's logged a significant amount of minutes early in the season that's had almost 2 weeks off for a very important 2 weeks coming up. So maybe maybe he's even a little fresher. And I bet you more than anything, man, that guy probably wants to get on the damn court so badly and play.
Well, they could have maybe won at Wyoming if they had a healthy Emmanuel Acot, and then you mentioned Colorado State as well. I mean,
I just think that's something that people might kind of overlook, BJ, is like it was so obvious that he missed the Colorado State game, but he was hampered back at Wyoming too. So you look at Boise State's 2 losses in the last 79, 80 days, and they didn't have a healthy Emmanuel Acot. So when this team's at full strength, when they've had all their pieces over the last almost 3 months we're working on here, the Broncos have been not nearly unbeatable, but unbeatable, to be honest. I mean, when they've been at full strength.
Folks are fired up in the YouTube chat about the basketball.
Does Jordan ever miss anything? Does Jordan ever miss anything?
No, he's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He's
the Blue Collar Club, and they're raising some money for the BAA, doing a great job. We're going to team up with them actually for some stuff down in Las Vegas for the tournament. They got some rally towels and stuff. People are saying sweet, awesome, Tanner. People are loving the idea for the basketball tailgate. Let's find the location again one more time so we can give them the shout out if they
spot 134.
Spot 134 at 1:00. You'll see Jay down there first in line to.
I will be at state basketball before I jump on over.
Yeah, that's good. Saturdays aren't always the easiest. For those of us that hate watching Wyoming tomorrow, speaking of Jordan, does Air Force win do anything, or would that be more painful? I would not expect at Wyoming to have Air Force to have much of a chance in that one.
Yeah.
I know it was a 2-point game at the buzzer, but I wouldn't expect that to. And how about Pam watching from Baja? Go Broncos.
Wow. I think that's something too, BJ. I mean, we've seen a couple, we've seen New Mexico put a scare in a couple of the elite teams in the Mountain West this year. They beat Wyoming the other day. They were up on Colorado State at halftime last night. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, though, man. Like, I think we're at the point in time in the season where, there's a clear-cut upper echelon in the Mountain West, and there is a clear-cut lower echelon in the Mountain West.
Yep.
And it doesn't do the conference a lot of good right now if you have your 8, 9 seeds, whatever in the standings right now, knocking off your 1s and 2s, because that knocked Wyoming out of the top 30, and that's significant because that eliminated a quad 1 win from Boise State. And now you look over to the Pac-12, Washington State's falling down. They're 49 in the net rankings. If they fall out, then Boise State loses another quad 1 win. So
and it's so confusing because
but yeah,
it's just confusing because it's like 30. It's 30 for Wyoming when they're at home, but it's 70 when you're on the road, and so it's just hard to figure out.
50 when you're neutral for the Washington State game. So a lot to keep track of.
Hey, my wife's saying we need all the fans Saturday cheering as hard as Robin Rice and I were at the Air Force game. Oh, that was I can't tell you how many. There's an open seat. She moves down. She thought, she comes to the game, has the night off. It was a fun time, and then she goes and starts, talking to Robin Rice. Next thing you know, they're on TV like 10 times. I just don't know why she didn't get the. They put Robin's name on the screen. Jay, why not put Karen Rains up there?
All that I know is a basketball game broke out at a reality show I was watching of
I guess so. They're in the they had nothing else to talk about in a 20-point game, I guess. But people are asking where they would be if they win out. I actually had this discussion the other day with John Mallory, just having just in the perfect scenario. If they were to win the final game, every game ref, they'd be, and then win the Mountain West tournament, they'd be 28-6, and that would be riding a 9-game winning streak. 28-6 on a 9-game winning streak. He says 4 or 5 on. I don't think they can get to the 4.
Yeah,
but five or 6. They could be 5 or 6.
5 or 6 seems that. I mean, they're already on the 8 right now, according to Joe Lunardi. So if they were to win out, given the strength of the Mountain West, which the Mountain West is way stronger this year than years past, they got a chance. I mean, I was kind of actually just diving into this a little bit this morning, BJ, because
Come on, give us some.
curious. I mean, we all know that
give
the
us some
Mountain
tough
West is way
stats
better.
here. Come on, what do we got?
We all know the Mountain West is way better this year, but if you were to look at the net rankings, right now there are 9 teams in the Mountain West, and there's only 11 because Hawaii doesn't play basketball in the Mountain West. So 9 of the 11 teams in this league are in the top 150 of the net rankings. 6 are in the top 70. If you go back last year, they only had 5 in the top 160 and 4 in the top 70. And the year prior to that, 6 in the top 160, but only 2 in the top 85. So, I mean, this league, not only have they added depth, but to how the overall pool, but the good have gotten gooder.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it.
They have more top end talent and more depth.
And you mentioned you said there's 2 clear levels, but the level breaks at like 8, 9. In years past, it's broken at like 4 or 5. I mean, the upper level is higher than it's, but there's not as many teams weighing down your schedules and things. And I think, maybe today I'll send out a tweet looking at this, but I still have been banging on the table for a while. I think this league needs to go to 20 conference games, because you look at like Wyoming not having to go play at San Diego State. You look at, and I know COVID, like San Diego State doesn't have to go to New Mexico. That's because of COVID. They didn't make up the game, but you look at the unbalanced schedule this year. And actually, it works out okay for Boise State. Yes, you might get 2 more wins. You play New Mexico. You would have had New Mexico at home, and you would have played at San Jose. But those those games would have done nothing to help you except bring down your computer rankings. So
you figure New Mexico, maybe you would have been okay, but San Jose State's a game you win and you lose.
Well, I'm not sure now you want to play New Mexico. Looks pretty good with those guards. I mean, they're playing better. But I just think when you're trying to decide a league champion, and there is an actual way where everyone can play the same amount of teams, why not just add 2 more? Do you really want to see CSU Bakersfield? Well, Boise State certainly doesn't, but a team like that, come to Boise, or do you want to see another conference game at home? I mean, it should be easy.
I also wonder now, BJ, given the fact that it seems like the league is rebounding a little bit, maybe by shrinking conference play, you allowed teams to be a little more calculated with their non-con schedule. Coaches are very good at that. Some of them are elite at it in terms of how it can affect what was the RPI, what is now the net, Ken Palm, all the rankings that go into Selection Sunday. But now that the league is so good, it's like, well, why not just play the people in our conference?
Yeah, and I see it both ways, but you're already playing 18 games, so there's 2 teams you only play once. For folks that aren't familiar with it, there's 2 teams you play once. One's at home. That's
always going to make somebody mad. That's always going to make somebody mad.
They try to have the top teams in the league play each other twice, but I don't think they projected Wyoming to be one of the highest teams in the league. And then the way it works out is they don't have to go to San Diego. I mean, that's a game where I know Boise State got the win, but I think Boise State would love to have to see Wyoming go play down there, for the league standings. So, and Cody's saying New Mexico would draw better at home. I know San Diego State's been against it. There's a couple of teams that have been against it, but I think I've got to take another hard look at that, because it just doesn't make sense to me. When you're trying to decide a league champion, everyone should have to play the same teams and the same schedules. Home and home for everybody. It's pretty easy. You add 2 more games, you go to 20 league games, and it's a home and home for everybody. You play everybody twice, and because then you get into tiebreakers, J2, where if a team only plays a team once, and then is 1-0 better than 1-1, and 2-0 better than 1-0, and it's just the whole thing. It's such an easy fix, in my opinion.
Right. Well, that way too. I mean, like, there are a number of tie-breaking scenarios that we can consider right now, but one reason why Boise State might have a little bit of an edge over Wyoming is because Boise State already has a victory over San Diego State. Wyoming only plays the Aztecs once, so if San Diego State can take that game and they finish high in the standings, they're the tiebreaker potentially. If Boise State beats Colorado State too, I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole because it's going to get too confusing. But either way, if Wyoming loses to San Diego State, Boise State already has a win against the Aztecs. That could be the ultimate tiebreaker that would give Boise State the 1 seed and maybe a Mountain West title. Still way too much to really try to calculate though in order to figure that out.
Hey, again, as I said, $45 if you just joined us on the promo code. BNN45 is the promo code. Today only, you can get a year subscription for $45. That's $25 off the full price of $70. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. And while you're at it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get that up to 1,000. I think we're at 748. So I don't know how it works, Jay, but once you get to 1,000, you start showing up more in searches and things like that. So we'll try hopefully make that push to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Kurt Blake wanting to know before we get back to on the court stuff about the new recruit and the Sadrock Nganga. Did I say that correct? Sadrock Nganga, 4-star player, 6'10" out of Arizona there, or has been living in Arizona while he's been playing, and really impressive, man. He's got, I called it on Twitter, one of the biggest commitments in the history of Boise State basketball, and in terms of prep players, he's got a chance to be really, really special. This is a big deal. Yeah,
he says he's cool with going by Sada.
No, that's easier than Sada.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just call him that, shorten his name. He said he also played with LeBron James's kid during AAU, Bronny.
Well, that I it's kind of what I assume the Boise State coaches are doing. You bring in the friends first, and then you go hardcore on Bronny.
Maybe. There we go. Now we're talking.
That would sell out Extra Mile Arena. They'd finally sell out Extra Mile Arena if they had Bronny James
probably
on the team. Dakota Atkinson bring his 7-foot-tall teammate with them as well. He does have another 7-foot-tall teammate that did have listed as Final 8, and Boise State wasn't in it, at least for now. So, yeah, I mean, it is everyone's focused on this year and kind of what's ahead. And I think we should remember that technically everybody other than Abu Kijab could come back next year. If this team makes a run and goes to the tournament and you get guys like Akod and Shaver thinking, oh, let's take another run at this thing, all of a sudden you throw in a blue chip 4-star, top 50 type recruit next year. I mean, the future appears bright for Boise State basketball, man. If you're able to, we've seen what they've done in the transfer portal with Akod and Kijab and Shaver and Armouche and some of these key impact guys coming via transfer. Once you start sprinkling in some high school guys, and I know they really like, RJ Keene, who's redshirting this year, and they got Burke Smith and some of these other guys, but all of a sudden you throw in Sadrock Nganga and what else they're going to look at next year. I mean, the future's bright, man.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, this thing, the pendulum could swing so far so quickly in terms of guys that, could be coming back or not. And I know that, for those of you out there, is Marcus Shaver really an NBA guy? I mean, maybe not, but he'd go overseas and make a lot of money playing professional basketball, and heck, the way he's been shooting it lately, maybe he can do whatever the heck he wants, to be honest with you. But that's cool. And talking with Sada just a little bit, it just sounds like he just appreciated the coaches taking the effort to really try to connect with them. And he said they kind of felt like it was a family atmosphere. So, it's funny. I was like, how'd you find out about Boise State, or how did they find you? And it was just a coach that saw his highlights on Instagram, messaged him on Instagram. The rest is seriously history. Came on a visit, liked it, committed, and now he plans to sign whenever the next period opens.
Yeah, I think it's early April or middle April, sometime in April. So it's coming up.
Probably got to hold your breath a little bit there, though, right, BJ? I mean,
but basketball's not the same as other
sports. It's not the same, and we're later in the process.
There's kind of a weird. I don't know why, but there's kind of a weird code in basketball. You don't see nearly the guys decommitting and flipping and offers coming in. Once a guy commits, that's almost as good as good as done. But I mean, when this guy's getting a crystal ball projection on 247 to Kentucky, and all of a sudden you see him coming to Boise State, I mean, that has to. I don't care injuries or not. I mean, you look at raw talent. This guy was once thought to be a one and done type player. I mean, this is you can't underestimate or overestimate however you want to phrase. I mean, this is a huge deal.
Yeah, I also think that he's a guy that has seemed like Boise State has had success developing guys like Chandler Hutchison and obviously Derek Alston. I think he's still even probably as talented as he is. I think that he's probably still is. I don't know if going a little raw is the right way to phrase that or not, because he's so talented, but. He was like a soccer player when he was growing up, and his dad was like, son, I don't see very many 6'8", 6'9" soccer players, so why don't you try basketball?
Probably the right choice long term. Jared wondering about Burke Smith. You spelled Burke wrong, by the way, Jared, but it's all good. He's actually redshirting this year. He actually played a little last year. He got in a few games, but last year counted as COVID year, which didn't count. So now he's redshirting, he's developing. And I'll tell you this, Jay, he can shoot. Man, you watch him in the pregame warmups. Not many guys make more 3-pointers than Burke Smith, which is crazy to think about at 6'11". But he's a guy that with the year of development, and he's going to be coming in as a third-year freshman next year, theoretically, Jay. I mean, I think they feel long-term Burke Smith has a chance to contribute, and he's more of a shooter, one of those kind of Zach Haney type guys that can shoot from the outside. So I don't think he's going to be he's a different player than Armouche. He's not necessarily a back it down, physical post up type guy, which he will obviously at his size, but he's more of an outside guy that can contribute as well. I want to shift things ahead in the last couple of minutes here, Jay, but I do want to quickly give a shout out to our friends over at Boise Dentistry Co. Locations in Boise, Caldwell, Mountain Home. As you can see, Dr. Chris Minert, native of the Treasure Valley, grew up in Eagle, went to Eagle High School, graduated from Boise State. He opened his own practice down in San Antonio, but came back to Boise and has now opened Boise Dentistry Co. Brings with him his whole health approach to first-class preventative dental care. Dr. Minert loves helping patients feel confident, happy, and positive about their smiles. His caring and compassionate personality shines through every aspect of his practice. His main goal is to provide innovative and comprehensive dental care for all of his patients so they can maintain a high level of wellness throughout their daily life. Again, my family's made the switch. Those are my kids on the screen there. So they're smiling, and he can do the same for you as well. So Dr. Chris Minert, BoiseDentistryCo.com if you're looking for a new dentist for whatever reason, and there's locations across the Treasure Valley. Okay, final couple minutes here, Jay. Moving this thing ahead now. Bracketology, you mentioned 8 seed. Ken Palm, I think, 33 this morning. Where are we at? What's kind of the big picture look for Boise State from your opinion in terms of, I've been saying all along, I think 3-2 probably gets it done in the last 5 here. If you can hold serve at home, go one, honestly, 4-1 would be ideal. You go 3-0 at home if you can win your 3 home games, and then go 1-1 on the road. 4-1 not only gets you in, but keeps you on that 7-8 range probably in terms of a seed. But I think 3-2, if you can just find a way to go 3-2 in these last 5 games, I think they're in pretty comfortably. And for me, I want them to not have to worry about Vegas. I want the scenario where even if they lose to Nevada in the quarterfinal game, it doesn't matter. So for me, 4-1 makes that a question. I think 3-2. If you go 3-2 and then you lose to Nevada, I think you're still probably in. But we'll see. But I mean, the path is there. What's your kind of big picture take of where they are, Mountain West champion wise and tournament wise?
I feel like you're kind of on point there. I think the 3-2 the rest of the way, or I guess you could even say 3-3, and that they're still on the bubble. Even at 3-3, I think they're still on the bubble for sure. But I don't think this program wants to be on the bubble because they don't want to go back to Dayton. So if
they're not the only ones that don't want to go back to Dayton. We'll just say that.
That's amen. But I think 3-2 does it. And the only reason why I say 3-2 is just because we're projecting what we feel might be a worst case scenario at this point. So if a worst case scenario to get in at this point, but 4-1 is very realistically, if they go 4-1, I don't think the Mountain West tournament will be irrelevant. I feel like in terms of their NCAA tournament bid. It's funny. I did ask. I was just kind of curious, BJ. So I threw out a quick poll last night on Twitter. Do members of Bronco Nation want Boise State to win an NCAA tournament game, a Mountain West regular season title, or a Mountain West tournament title? You can only pick one. A resounding 80% said they want that first ever Mountain West or NCAA tournament win. 3.1% are focused on a regular season title. Almost 17% are focused on a tournament title. But either way, for the most part, whatever happens here in conference play, it doesn't mean as much to Bronco Nation, according to this poll with almost 400 votes. That is, they want an NCAA tournament win. And one thing real quick, BJ, as we wrap up here, I did want to touch on the fact that Boise State's offense has really seemed to pick it up here lately. If you look at over the last 5 games, they're averaging almost 74 points per game. That's almost a 10-point per game increase over what they were averaging prior. And this isn't a team that's like getting up and down the court a ton more. They're just being more efficient, shooting almost 47% as a team during that stretch. They're making free throws. In a matter of 14 days, they've jumped from number 141 in the country in Ken Palm's adjusted offense all the way up to 104. When you combine the fact that they have a darn near top 10 defense according to Ken Palm's adjusted defensive metric, I mean that's pretty unique company, pretty elite company to be in if if you're in that range.
Yeah, I mean, the offense certainly has picked up, 18 assists each of the last 2 games.
Yeah.
They're connecting from downtown. I think 3 games in a row they've shot well from 3. They were 10 of 18 in the last game. They're obviously very strong against Colorado State from 3 as well. I don't know if they're that, strong with 3-point shooting team, but I think the averages are starting to even out a little bit. And yeah, everyone talks about the defense, Jay, but I mean, if they can get a little bit of offense down the stretch here, that could be the game changer.
Yeah, you look at. I think that's the thing too. Like, it's hard to be critical when a team's on a 14-game winning streak. But one thing that they weren't doing, like in typical Leon Rice fashion, is racking up many assists. It was working for them, so I don't think it mattered. But it is an important stat. 18 assists in back-to-back games is a great number for them, and that's a really good game. When Boise State during the Leon Rice era hits that 18 assist mark in play. They're 46-7. I mean, so that's a pretty high win rate if you move the ball like that, share the ball like that, get the offense in rhythm. I've just been impressed with them. And I just to point this out, BJ, I mentioned teams in the top 100 of Ken Palm's adjusted offense, teams in the top 10 of his adjusted defensive metrics. We're talking about Gonzaga, Auburn, and Arizona, the 1, 2, and 3 teams in the AP poll. Outside of that, you have Texas Tech, Tennessee, and Texas. I mean, those are some of the premier teams in college basketball. And in terms of some of the metrics that Ken Palm throws out there, Boise State is barely on the outside of what some of those teams have been achieving so far this year.
We do even get a shout out here. Nick Wade doing a proper thing. The OC, Tim Duryea, and the DC, Mike Burns, if you want to break it down like that. Tim Duryea focuses on the offense. You got Mike Burns focusing on the defense, and Coach Barsh does an outstanding job as well, and Lexus Williams and David Moats. And the whole staff this year deserves a lot of credit with the weirdness of the schedule and the turnaround. And final thing, Jay, Perry saying need to make a statement against Utah State. You look at the upcoming games. Utah State's the one that you got to win that one. I mean, it's a quality game. It's a quad 2 game, I believe, right now. But I mean, it certainly is one where you already went down there. Marcus Shaver Jr. hit the shot. You won at their place, and they've lost 3 in a row. They're struggling a little bit. I frankly look at them, and I don't think they're all that great, to be honest with you. I mean, the computers love them much more than their record is. Justin Bean's a great kind of number 2 guy, but when he's all of a sudden the number 1 guy, Ashworth, they got some key players. The coach Oden from UMBC. Everybody remembers UMBC going on that run and beating Virginia, the 16-1. Well, that's now the coach at Utah State that was at UMBC. He brought a couple transfers with them. They got an okay roster. They're in the middle of the pack, but this is a game at home. You have to think Boise State has a chance, Jay, to win this one and start the momentum. It's going to be a huge crowd. We looked yesterday. I think they said there were less than 1,500 tickets from a sellout. They're giving out, it's an orange out, I believe. So wear orange. They're giving out rally towels to the students. It's going to be 4:00 on a Saturday. It just seems like it's all lining up, Jay, for this to be a fun afternoon at Extra Mile Arena. And then if you win that, you parlay it into Tuesday night, San Diego State, where you hope maybe get another sellout. I mean, these are 2 really big home games. If you can take care of business, we're talking about going 4-1 and all this. Well, you win these 2 home games and it becomes 2-1. Or I mean, the number of games drop off in terms of the leeway and the margin of error that you give yourself. So I think you got to hold serve at home. These are 2 huge home games starting tomorrow with Utah State.
I think these are big games for the program. And what I mean by that is Boise State's in a very good position right now. It is February 18th. They're playing for championship in the conference. They're playing for an NCAA tournament bid. If you can pack that place and show out in front of Bronco Nation, all of a sudden the fans will remember that next season when Boise State's trying to build momentum. So big program win or big program game. And in terms of an impressive win, as somebody just said, no, man, it is just win, baby, from here on out for Boise State. It doesn't matter if the style points are there or not. Just get the car across the finish line and win.
Yep, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Dakota saying, let's go. Hope all the season ticket holders show up for this one. The students show up. Yeah, we'll see what the student crowd looks like tomorrow, as well as the I saw the 2 lower levels are pretty much sold out. So that doesn't always mean they're going to be filled, but we'll see. Should be fun, Jay. We'll be watching KTVB. What do we got? High school, all the high school stuff coming up. Olympics still going on.
Yeah.
What can we expect on KTVB the next 24 hours?
Girls State basketball tonight. We're all jumping down to talk to Leon Rice this afternoon, a couple of the players as well. And then early this morning, or early tomorrow morning, late tonight, whatever you want to phrase it, Scott Patterson, one of the Idahoans, McCall-born cross-country skier, is going to be competing in his favorite event, the 50 km free ski. So, then we're almost at the end of the Olympics. So it's crazy.
When does the Olympics end?
Closing ceremonies will air in the States on Sunday.
Wow, how about that? It went pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, no student. That is a big deal. Student section no longer blocking off the
Yeah.
rows. Concessions are back. 4:00 on Saturday. There really is no excuse at this point for not to be a huge crowd on Saturday. Jay, appreciate it. We'll see you out at the Idaho Center. Big day for high school girls basketball, and then we'll see you, as I said, down at Boise State in the Extra Mile Arena tomorrow. Appreciate it, Jay.
Cheers.
Yep, there he is, Jay Tust, KTVB. Appreciate his time as always, and hopefully you'll be watching him for his coverage as well. $45 subscription. If you like what you see, if you're interested in subscribing to Bronco Nation News, we're offering a limited time only, probably just today. You can see it down at the bottom of the screen there. $25 discount off a yearly subscription. All you got to do is go to bronconationnews.com today and use BNN45. BNN45 is the promo code or the coupon code, I think it's called on the website. Just go to bronconationnews.com, click subscribe, and go to the coupon code, type in BNN45, and you'll get a $25 discount off your first year subscription, only $45. And that allows us to be able to have Jay Tust 2 days a week, to be able to have Mike Prater and John Mallory. We enjoy those guys coming on, but we got to pay them to do it. So we're trying to build this thing, bigger and better and keep moving it forward. So I hate to always be on here hawking subscriptions and trying to get money from folks, but it is the reality of the situation. If we want to be able to travel to road games and do live pregame and postgame shows and have interviews with Coach Rice, and we were the only media outlet at Air Force the other night. If we want to be able to keep doing this stuff, it does take the funding to back it. So we have great sponsors like rowpaint.com. As you can see, our title sponsor, all the other great sponsors on the screen that we tell you about as well, and they help make it possible as well, but subscriptions would as well. So if you are liking what you're seeing, hopefully you will help contribute to this. We'll have some exclusive content on the website, some interviews. We're working on an interview with Sadrak Naganga. That'll be an exclusive only interview for subscribers. We got some other things that we're doing. So appreciate everybody. And as I said, it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. It's a big weekend for Boise State basketball. So BNN45 is the promo code. It gets you a 1-year subscription for $45 to bronconationnews.com. And I hope some folks will take advantage of that. We're also trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Please go to youtube.com/bronconationnews. Click subscribe, click like. It takes about 5 seconds, and it helps us move up the metrics and some of the things like that. And as I've said, all you have to do is, after the pregame and postgame, if you have a smart TV, you can watch us right there on your TV while you're, you watch the game on TV, then you flip over onto your, YouTube app on your smart TV, and you can still be scrolling Instagram or Twitter or whatever on your phone and watch us on YouTube as well. So don't forget, tomorrow we'll have our pregame show, about 3:30 or so, courtside at Extra Mile Arena, and we'll be doing our gift card. $25 gift card goes to the James Whiskey and Cocktails, the new cocktail bar right across the street from Boise State. All you have to do is come on the pregame show and give us your score predictions. So we do that every pregame show. You come on before the game when we're on live courtside. You give us your score prediction in the comments, and then whoever is closest to the actual score. If you're a subscriber to Bronco Nation News, you get a $25 gift card to the James Whiskey and Cocktail. So hopefully you will do that as well. So a lot going on. And as Jay said, we are going down to talk to Leon Rice, I believe Lucas Milner as well, some other folks. So we'll have some content coming up on the site this afternoon with some of the interviews. And then, as Jay said, we'll have full coverage, Extra Mile Arena tomorrow, 4:00. We're trying to sell out the game. I think my wife's coming to the game with my kids, but I don't think she'll be anywhere near Coach Rice's wife. She'll be up in the nosebleeds, so probably won't make it on TV tomorrow. I know that disappoints many of you who enjoyed seeing her on TV the other night. But no, that was a fun time at Air Force and fun time to be a Boise State fan right now with how they're playing. So hopefully folks are having fun. And as this team pushes towards the tournament and, liking what they're seeing here as we're 2.5 months in to Bronco Nation News and really enjoying it. So it's been a lot of fun. And again, hope you'll consider that subscription. BNN45 is the promo code for a 1-year subscription to bronconationnews.com. $25 off. We got Big Wade saying, good get hiring Jay. Yeah, Jay's doing 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 a.m. You can see Jay Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 a.m. We got, appreciate that, Nick, saying everybody give it a like on the YouTube. Do appreciate that. And yeah, I do want to bring this up one more time. No longer blocking off rows for the students. Josh, you are correct. There are no longer blocking off rows for the students. So there really is no reason. It's going to be a full capacity tomorrow at Extra Mile Arena. So they got about 1,500 tickets left. They're trying to sell those. And hopefully folks, take advantage of that. And hopefully we can get a sellout in there tomorrow because, man, Extra Mile Arena is something special when it's sold out. So appreciate everybody for checking this out. We'll have, again, full coverage, Coach Rice and some players talking. We'll get that press conference up on the site. We're working on the interview with Sadrak Naganga as well. Sada, as he likes to go by, which is much easier for me to pronounce. So we'll just go with Sada. And a lot of other exclusive content coming as well. You got spring football only a couple of weeks away. You got the push for the Mountain West tournament. And don't forget, Circa Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas. If you're going to the Mountain West tournament, come stay with us at Circa. It's the new, brand new casino down there on Fremont Street. They boast that they have the world's largest sports book. It's 3 levels of a sports book, and then they also have Stadium Swim, which is a 6 heated outdoor pools with 140-foot screens showing all the games, and they got DJ out there with music. It's a party. It's a fun time. So if you've never been to the Mountain West tournament, or if you're looking for a new hotel, this would be the year to go, man. Boise State is pushing. It's going to be a lot of fun down there. Good chance to see them play, a couple of games in Vegas. So come on down to Circa and join us down there. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Circa Casino, we're going to do some pregame events. I think Wednesday night, the night before the tournament starts, we'll do some sort of event there at Circa where Bronco Nation News will take care of the first drink for subscribers. And if folks sign up, we'll give some drinks out and some swag from ICCU and some of our other sponsors. We'll have some rally towels to give away there as well for the tournament. So going to be a lot of fun and looking forward to it. So we'll see folks tomorrow. Again, 3:20, 3:30, sometime after 3 o'clock, we'll be live courtside at Extra Mile Arena, getting you set for the Utah State game. You can bring those score predictions. And then, as always, we'll be back on the post-game show about 6 o'clock, right after the game ends. Flip over to Bronco Nation News. We will be there with the interviews, analysis, highlights. And, by the way, Colin Mitchell, our associate reporter, our intern, he's a student at Arizona State. He is back in Boise. And I know folks like Colin and his work, and he will be at the next 2 home games, Utah State and San Diego State, helping us out. So Perry says, subscribed. Thanks for the discount. Thank you, Perry. I really appreciate that. That's awesome to hear, and hopefully more folks take advantage of that. You get your first year $25 off, and that is a huge help for us, Perry, and I hope that the discount feels worth it. I hope folks are getting their money's worth, but it's going to be great to that'll get your first year $25 off, and that's a great value, almost probably, 40% off or so. I'm not good at math. So thanks, Perry. Thanks, everybody, for watching this. And again, if you're thinking about the Mountain West tournament, I'm going to play a commercial for Circa right when we're done here so you can see what I'm talking about. But we'll talk to you tomorrow, 3:30 or so on the Bronco Nation News social media channels. Courtside at Extra Mile Arena as Boise State looks for their 21st win of the season, its 21st win of the season, and they try to continue that push towards an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, the first time since 2015, and they're going for the highest seed ever as well if they can get that single-digit seed. So they're making history, and they're pushing, every day towards more history, and Bronco Nation News will be there every step of the way covering it. So appreciate everybody. We'll see you courtside Extra Mile Arena, 3:30 tomorrow as Boise State hosts Utah State. My name's BJ Rains. Appreciate you for checking this out. Every morning, 9 a.m., we got the live videos, live show here every morning, Monday through Friday. Me and a different host will talk Boise State sports with you. So make your plans 9 a.m. every morning to join us here. And if you're listening on the audio version, we do post the to iTunes, Apple Music, a couple other, Amazon Music, Spotify. We take the audio version of this and turn it into a podcast, audio podcast. So you can listen that way as well. Go download on iTunes or where you listen to podcasts in case you miss a live episode. But thanks a lot. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at CircaLasVegas.com.
At ICCU, to make a difference, it takes just one connection. A friendly face, an open ear, a helping hand. And then something amazing happens. We find out that we're better together. This is what Idaho Central does in our communities every day. We help our members with the small things and big dreams. This is what believing in you is all about. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.